Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Disco Elysium with me, Bring It On. We have a lot to do, so let's get started with the... Let's start with the badge.
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man. You. Some seaweed is stuck to the back. The man, but 8. What do you think it looks? Don't wait. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it.
Harrier. That's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrart was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't.
He thinks. Wait, what kind of name is Harrier?
It's a wartime name. Revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times. Like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
A name like armor.
Harry Dubois it is then.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Harrier Dubois.
The badge in your hands shines as you rotate it, catching light.
Lieutenant W. Freighter.
What is a Lieutenant W. Freighter?
The lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant.
And W. Freighter?
The title of Freighter is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, captain. You have declined twice, thus you're W. Freighter.
Lieutenant explains. Declined.
There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's decontage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors out of respect. And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank, in your case, lieutenant.
He continues. And what's a decomptage?
Decontage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens' militia. It means counting down to 2s.
The countdown is modeled after the dual leadership system employed by the left during the revolution, which in turn was developed by last century experimental psychologists in the University of Königstein.
The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kinks.
What kinks?
Kinks like satellite officers and the additional freighter rank I already explained.
Wait, satellite officers?
You are given the title of satellite officer if your partner is quickly promoted through the ranks and you rise with him. You don't seem to be a satellite.
So you've been putting up with all my bullcrap because I'm your superior?
No, I've been putting up with you because despite an unconventional approach, you are doing good police work.
Well, thank you, Kim.
It matters more than driving your motor carriage into the sea. And now we've even found your badge.
He smiles encouragingly. Oh good, I'm glad I don't have to rip off the band-aid of telling him that happened.
He trusts you for now. Try not to spoil it.
Alright, turn back to the document.
Such a small yet precious thing. Expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber. It reads.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
The numbers are not there for good measure. They have an administrative purpose, one that's unfortunately been erased from your memory.
4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well then.
So only 4 months I've been like this.
You're pretty sure you weren't doing well, but better? Probably yes. A lot can happen in 4 months, especially in winter. The winters are never easy on you, of that you are sure.
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41, like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor, a lot of asphalt. The 41st is...
He stops. What?
It's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is. But then again, it's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiaeva.
A faint smile.
Roberts, Feuerbach, Dimitri. Suddenly, names from your decomptage flash in your forebrain. The badge in your hand shines as you wrote.
Alright, I think that's everything. Now let's talk about the bullet.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp.
Kim, take a look at this. It's a jacketed bullet close to 5mm in diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while.
Well, we have a coin toss chance of solving it, so try to determine what type of weapon shot this. We have +4 because we have a similar rifle on hand, which I assume is that antique rifle that we have. Aware of the name of the antique rifle I found, that we got from Renee. The encyclopedia said this came from a breech loader.
You can't remember what happened last week. What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm models?
Well, I have a good idea. Let's try that.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag. A rifle, revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46mm from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique.
Make?
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you, the dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit the chamber.
Is anyone still making these rifles?
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
Who uses Belmargrave rifles these days?
Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
Lieutenant jots something down in his notebook. I think I know where this came from. Dangle the bag thoughtfully.
Okay. And?
The shot probably came from a Belmargrave rifle.
An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Ravachol, really.
Why not?
Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Yeah, worth what? Getting shot?
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
Yeah, seems we're looking for an antiques enthusiast.
Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
Well, cool. We made some headway on the case. Let's talk to Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
She takes a sip from her silvery thermal cup. Show her your badge. I found my badge, by the way.
By love, you did.
She inspects the piece of blue plastic, her eyes scanning from left to right.
Fast, observantly, like an electronic printer.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious.
She hands it back to you.
What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter?
Seaweed drips from the badge in your hand. It smells of fish. By the way, I've talked to Evrart Clare.
You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
She smiles carefully.
Finally, time to choose sides.
Yeah, it's not important if I liked him. I was doing my job.
Of course, Detective. Excuse me for implying otherwise.
The RCM does not pick sides in this. I hope it doesn't come off any other way.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something...
She turns to you.
How could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be... gossiping.
She smiles.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Miss Evrart is helping me find my gun.
Oh. That's so... helpful of him.
Her eyes become large and round.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. He's able to contain the anger and surprise.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this, to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
She shakes her head. No.
Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else?
I helped him turn up the heat on the borscht.
Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making?
She's intrigued, if a little confused. The cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk. Helps them strike.
The strike brew. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it?
She nods. No, you misunderstand. I turn the knob like this. Turn the heat down.
Beyond curious. I will choose to interpret that as you turning the alcohol in the strike brew down. For the sake of our professional relationship. And because I don't like the idea of them any more drunk than they already are. What else?
She nods. He asked me to open a door.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
She waves her hand. Yes, a referral.
Such referrals may sometimes get you information from a man like Evrart. Did it?
She nods carefully, as they're handling a match near a powder keg. Then she says, raising an eyebrow.
Detective, I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Yeah, I told him about the mercenary tribunal. He didn't seem too worried.
Brinkmanship or saber rattling? Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress?
No, it was more like he wanted things to get worse. In secret, of course.
He wasn't trying to impress anyone. I think he wants things to escalate.
Or he wants you and me to believe he wants to go to war.
Of course, brinkmanship takes showmanship. We should have seen it before, in his office. He might well have been performing for us.
There's always that risk, ma'am. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
Yeah, Kim's right. I'm pretty sure he meant it.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
Yeah, I think it's good to tell her that maybe there's a way Even though she said she doesn't have control over the mercenaries, if there's a way to de-escalate the situation, we should pursue that.
This gave her pause. She's pensive, suddenly. Hard to say about what. Have I underestimated the Union's ferocity? She has to ask herself by now.
Alright, that's all I've got to say.
What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating.
See? That's what I'm after. He asked me to deliver an envelope.
Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it?
She thinks. To a nameless settlement down the coast, nearby.
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
She looks over the bay.
With longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. Why does she want to go there?
You're quite fond of this village, aren't you?
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders.
She nods. There's that crooked smile again.
He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another.
You've been to Martinez before.
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not.
She smiles. Sounds like you miss those times.
Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats. Like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition landed in '08. Imagine.
She tosses her head.
Oh no, she's sentimental, all right.
If you say so.
I'm over-radiated, Harry. I do silly things sometimes, out of pale-related illness. Like take this job. The moral of the story is...
She sprouts. And then she lists.
Do not spend 22 days a year in Pale Transit. Don't waste your 20 slumming it with your stupid friends. And don't deliver Evrart Claire's mail.
Her bony fingers pointed like an arrow at your chest.
Are you satisfied, Detective? What else can you tell me about your mail delivery quest for Evrart? Do you think it will improve the place?
She's pointing it quite hard in there. Feels like a knife.
He wants to build a youth center here, for the children of Martinez.
A youth centre with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it.
Her eyes run across the water, remorsefully.
Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him.
So you're sad you can't buy the place?
Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it than usual.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information?
She smiles. I'd rather talk about something else for now, if you don't mind.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat.
She simmers down.
Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Nope, that's it. Alright, let's go talk to Evrart, and that we've sent off the envelope with the incorrect signatures. And then we will return to Titus Hardy and try and get some more authority points against him. We'll have to deal with these punks that are scouting out Kim's car. I did put another point in hand-eye coordination. Oh, I can try shaving my face again. Odd that you didn't catch this graffito earlier. Van Eyck Overdrive, it says. I'm hoping now that we've done a second favor for Evrart, he can tell us where the gun is, or give us some idea of where the gun's at. Because I would like to get that off the streets. Also, I know I didn't stop and check out all the people inside of the Whirling in Rags. I should probably go back and see if they have anything new to say. I failed in my due diligence.
Oh, hey, mister. No trouble at all.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
He leans toward you, waiting for you to complete a sentence, not for your. A member of the board.
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today?
He nods in approval. It turns out the strikers were being served an alcoholic brew. I stopped this madness.
I don't know what that means, Harry, but I love it. I love your initiative. Knowing you're out there keeping things running lets me focus on the big picture stuff.
He chuckles.
Don't even tell me what was going on. Alcoholic brew? Stronger? Stopped it? Strike? I'm just gonna let you surprise me, Harry.
Alright, it's done. I mailed the signatures you asked me to mail.
The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this.
He claps his hands together like a child who's just been offered cotton candy.
My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real future, Harry, and I feel I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
He nods to the lieutenant, smiling broadly.
Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in.
The signatures I got. I know you plan to force them out with the construction noise.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving...
He shakes his head.
Well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
So the village is doomed.
Lieutenant says grimly. Well, not exactly.
You were there. You saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. We are going to reset it.
His slams. He slams his fist on the table, causing some of the coffee to spill.
Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce.
He repeats. What do you mean?
Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
He leans forward. Youth supermarket church complex. Do you really expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that.
Wait, but will you erect a statue to yourself?
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and landowners in Azon hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together.
Alright, sounds like you got this. You can rely on my vote. Just based off the empathy thing, I'm gonna say that.
Oh, I do, Harry. I really do. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier with that vote of yours. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
He crosses his arms on his chest. Did you order the hangman killed?
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead.
He shakes his head energetically. What do you gain from him being dead?
Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war.
Have you ever heard what 2 giant Cerace hornets can do to an entire colony of bees? They destroy it.
I have. It's a great story, Harry. Did you also know how the bee colony kills the giant hornet? They swarm and blanket it entirely until it suffers a massive heat stroke and dies.
He nods.
He crosses his hands contently, thinking of the interior temperature of the wasp rising.
Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men.
Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let us take care of this. Actually, I do want to find the posters. I was going to get rid of this because I've already gotten the benefit from the first bonus here, but the second one still gives me money, so let's hold off on that. What do we want? Oh wait, no, we don't have a new... Never mind, we don't even have a new thought. I've already equipped it. Never mind, we're fine. We're fine. I don't need to do anything here.
The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
How is this connected to the strike?
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that.
He pauses to rub his chin.
We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance.
Why are you telling me your plans?
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening.
He looks at the swordfish clock and nods. How many of you guys are there in the Union?
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
He replies like a whip.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
How are you going to fund your new independent harbor?
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients who'll ditch us? Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
You can't possibly hope to continue like you have. Clients will leave en masse.
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez, and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities.
That's just the top of the iceberg, though, isn't it?
The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
He makes air quotes.
In bulk shipping, large volume column is a major buyer, a shark.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his benefed, and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
He slams his fist on the desk once more.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperidone is used to treat severe psychosis.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned.
He smiles.
But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He smiles again.
He's basically admitting to it.
Interesting stuff. I just want to solve this murder, okay?
You know why you're such a good detective, Harry? You don't get sidetracked. You care about the people you're supposed to protect, not some systems that may or may not be unethical. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small part of Martinez.
It would still be illegal.
Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth, and everyone's gonna pull their weight.
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
Well, hold on. I don't want to look at the big picture. I want to look at the drug trade you almost admitted to.
No, Harry. That's boring. All right, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials trade is off the table. It's such a small and insignificant slice of revenue, I'm cutting it.
He sighs.
Boys, Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporated socialism I'm offering?
He looks around the container. He's all very politically driven. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll go 2. That's very ambitious. Love what you're doing for the working man.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me, because in many ways, you are that working man. You have already done so much work.
He bows courteously in his chair. Can I ask you about specific union members?
We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry.
His eyes are shining.
You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
He points to the door.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode.
Can I get my gun now?
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done.
He turns solemn. Fine. Where is it?
An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy, the one he described as terrifying.
So the gun's still with the woman who bought it from Roy.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway,
He smiles and shakes his head in wonderment.
the neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
She's waving it around at people.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
He smiles.
We might be looking at someone with a medical history here. Watch out.
Who is this old woman?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
Okay. Because Roy said something about her saying pigs. That's why I thought it was Cindy the Skull, because she, well, for once she dresses like an old woman. That's how she's described. And she called us pigs, because we're cops.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
Yeah, see?
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
A smile flickers at the corner of his mouth. Can you set up a meeting?
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
He holds out his index finger, and then he claps his hands.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
He looks at you. Well, that's it for now.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union.
Suddenly there's sadness in his tone.
This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
He points to you, then himself. A few more questions about the harbor.
I'm always happy to... Very nice, Harry.
Alright, well, we have to wait to get our gun, but at least we're on the right track. We have a few more leads. We still have the church to do. We have the cryptozoologist. We can talk to Leo here about specific union members, which I don't think we could do before. And we still have to confront Titus Hardy. So we have a lot to do still. And we'll get started in the next one. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.